Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Lead Nudge. I am Silvia, your inclusive leadership mentor, and today we're going to talk about how to protect your team's energy and focus. As a new leader, a lot of times you want to be seen as capable, you want to be seen as helpful, you want to prove yourself, and you also want to show that you're a team player within your department or within your organization. And it might be the case that when other departments come, or maybe even your own manager and boss, ask you to take on additional requests that might be urgent, the default response is often yes. And that might come because you don't want to disappoint anyone. You don't want to be seen as a negative person, or you don't want to be seen as a blocker. But let me bring you a different perspective, because when, as a leader, you say yes to everything, you end up with having a lot of times an overwhelmed, burnout, or unfocused team because they might be constantly reacting instead of proactively driving what's actually most important work. And what I want to highlight from this is that one of the most critical roles as a leader is to be the guardian of your team's focus and your team's energy. One of the most amazing mentors that I've had in the past couple years actually refer as the role of a manager to being a umbrella. I'll tell you a little bit in the comments about what that is. And what that means, in other words, is that you are, as a leader, supposed to prioritize and support your team in terms of knowing where to use and put their energy and priorities. So every time that, as a leader, you say yes to something new, you're basically implicitly saying that you're saying no to something that the team was already working on, or basically asking your team to stretch themselves thin. So a strategic no, it doesn't mean that it's a door slam, right? Or that you're saying no to every request, but it rather than just saying yes directly, make it a conversation about trade-offs, right? So let me show you some examples on how you could do that next time. One option, or the next time that you receive a request that isn't a clear priority, or that maybe it was an ad hoc request, here are some options that you can use to make this from a simple no to make that a bit of a collaborative response. An option could be, that's an interesting idea. And really, to do this well, we will need to deprioritize project XYZ. So can you help me understand which of these two is more important right now? Or we do have the capacity to take on that project in a month and a half. Would that work still? Or I really love the spirit of that project, and I do believe it's an important role that or an important project that we should take. We currently do not have the resources to do it well and to do it justice. So can we scope it down into a smaller first step that my team can take? So of course, these are not the only ways that you can take. These are a bit of some examples that can help you see a different way to say no and to rather make it a trade-off conversation. So this approach basically turns a potential conflict into being a strategic negotiation. So it demonstrates also that as a leader, you're here to protect your team. Lastly, remember that in these cases, you might be saying no to the request, but you're not saying it to the person. And that matters a lot. Remember to lead as you are with courage, inclusion, and heart, y'all.